Data sovereignty is the concept that data are subject to the laws of the country or the region where it was first generated. For Indigenous data, sovereignty is inseparable from rights, responsibilities and self-determination. Indigenous Data Sovereignty, or IDSOV, recognises the right of Indigenous peoples to maintain, control, protect and develop their cultural heritage, their traditional knowledge and traditional cultural expressions. And all of this is accorded within Article 31 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, otherwise known as UNDRIP. And that was first drafted back in 2007. Now, while UNDRIP affirms these rights internationally, in Australia, there are still no dedicated legislative protections for Indigenous data sovereignty. For decades, Indigenous data has remained vulnerable to misuse and exploitation, often with decision-making occurring in isolation of Indigenous communities. This has meant that Indigenous data has often been collected, stored and reused in ways that disconnect it from the very people and the communities it relates to. This is why Indigenous data governance matters. Indigenous data governance is the mechanism through which Indigenous data sovereignty may be enacted in practice. It focuses on who makes decisions about data, how those decisions are made, and how Indigenous rights, values and priorities are embedded throughout the data life cycle. At LDaCA, Indigenous data governance is understood as an ongoing relational process, one that centres participation, accountability and community-led decision-making rather than treating data as a static object or something that's purely technical. Because ultimately, data about Indigenous peoples should support Indigenous aspirations. It should strengthen cultural continuity and underscore self-determination.